I'm at Estate Treasures and Services in Middletown, Connecticut. This is an interesting place. I don't tend to find a lot here, but the building is so beautiful. It's an old factory. I'm going to do a little bit more digging and get the total history for you because it's so interesting. So I love just to be in this space. And actually, I took my husband here once, not because I thought he would like the contents, but because I thought he would love the building, and he did. So I'm going to show you some of the vintage finds, the secondhand things in the store. But I also am going to show you some of the highlights of the building because it's so cool. As you can see, it's a 3-story brick building, and it's set against this beautiful blue sky. It is an absolutely gorgeous day. And there's the sign for the business, Estate Treasures. And here's another vantage point. And we're going to go up the ramp and into the store. Here we go. We can see that there's lots of furniture. These shelves are kind of interesting. There's some old vintage coat racks and some horns from some poor unfortunate animal that lost them, and some very sketch jewelry. Nothing good here. Little magazine rack. I just wanted to give you a sense of the ceiling. They're very high, painted wood. And there are racks and racks and racks of clothes. The used clothing section here has really expanded. This clock is so nice, but the price is not good. My grandmother had plates like these. Yep, those were them. There's plates of all kinds here, all kinds of designs, things that are very plain for just daily use, things that are fancier for dinner parties and entertaining. I like this set. I like this needlepoint chair. I think it's very pretty. They have a whole Valentine's Day section, but nothing that's particularly worthwhile. Limoges, we're off to a good start. $45 is pretty steep. I like this little piece too, but it's missing its lid. These are nice, part of a toiletry set. I don't often see this color. And some serving pieces. These might come in handy for somebody. I like these napkin rings, but they only had 4, and I would need at least 8 for them to be worth my time. I'm not even looking at the glass. Look how good I'm doing. No glass today. Nope, not looking. But I will look at the porcelain. These are very nice. This set is pretty, but I thought they were asking rather a lot for it. Yeah, I wouldn't pay that price tag for this set, although I do like it. Lots of pretty decorative pieces, some candlesticks. That little glass pitcher would match the plate that I recently picked up. Cute little opalescent teacup. This is an ice bucket that I picked up the other day. I paid less for mine. And this is a great tray, but I definitely don't need it, so I'm moving on. This fish is interesting. I'm not sure what it's for. It's some kind of serving piece. I don't know if you put like a fish stew in there. Kind of interesting. These plates were pretty. And the green depression glass. And you've got to have some Bugs Bunny cups. They had some nice white pieces, but none of it was ironstone. I was careful to check. I like the lace detail on this piece. Looks very fragile. These urns could be a lot of fun as a kind of DIY project, but I'm not looking for one just now. And they have lots of vases, nothing spectacular. Oh boy, more Limoges. This is a nice little set. Very pretty pattern, in excellent condition. $10 for each piece I'm gonna have to think about. And some plates that match everything else. Very nice, but maybe not enough of them to make it worth my while. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to really give this one some thought. 2 dinner plates, 3 dessert plates, kind of an odd set. These are lovely. They remind me a little bit of my grandmother's china. Definitely a different maker. It's always so important to check the back, as I say again and again. Oh, here's some teacups, plates to go with the teacups. But I didn't see any teacups, so it doesn't help me much. Here's another room. This room is super cold because there's a garage door in the room, so I don't think there would be any way to really heat this room properly, and they have some really junky things in here. You can see even some of the windows and the doors have been knocked out, and they've got them boarded up. Yeah, not my favorite part of the store for sure. But we're moving in towards another section, and you never know what's around the corner. So let's check it out. Okay, here we have another very cold room with all kinds of random things in it. Here's a little collection of silver, but nothing spectacular. That teapot is interesting, but that's about it. You can see the floor is very rough and has definitely that factory look. And there's another section through that door. And there's shelves of just random items. Over here to my left, you can see there's all kinds of workout gear. Lots of ironing boards and filing cabinets that are full of like hinges and doorknobs and things like that, and old exercise equipment. I'm not in the market for a stationary bike right now. This place is massive. It's really cold in here. We've got some pewter on the sideboard. Some nice pieces there. You have to give them credit for being organized and keeping like objects together. And you can see here there's a whole host of furniture, some trunks. They're all just not in great shape, although this desk was cute. We have this piano. It's so hard to get anybody to take a piano in this day and age because they're impossible to move. They want quite a bit for this one. Good luck. These chairs are mostly in very, very bad repair, including some chairs with pretty bad stains and even like some mold and mildew in the seats. Actually, they give off kind of a smell of mildew in here. But of course, it's so cold. You know, there's no real heat here. There's no way to keep this stuff in good condition. You can see the seat here. And they've got more stuff, some old stoves. In the back, they have mattresses, which is kind of yucky. This reminds me of when I was a kid and got my shoes fitted by the shoe store guy. This trunk was an interesting shape. I liked the radio very much. That was a good piece. Didn't check out the price. And I thought that projector was really cool, but they want quite a bit for it, so I'm not really sure who's going to pay that. Yeah, $125 seems steep. Lots of fish aquariums. Another little trunk. Some crates, coolers. I mean, you name it, they have it here. There is so much range and variety of items in this store. It's unbelievable. Here you can see the ceiling. It's really, really high and of course not insulated. There's some more interesting trunks up there. This is an interesting piece. I think this is like for steaming clothes. I was very intrigued by it. I'm pretty sure that's what it's for. Yeah, heat and motor, and it's supposed to be easy. I'm not sure. I love to pick up these horns for wreaths. I have a few of them, but they want, yeah, $10 for that. No way. This leather bag was beautiful, but had a huge hole in it. And this little machine was interesting. I think it's like an adding machine, some kind of computation machine, but again, too much money for it. So we'll go into the next room. This room tends to have some interesting things. A lot of housewares are kept here, usually for better prices than that first room that we went into where I found the Limoges. You can see over here lots and lots of coffee makers and Keurigs and espresso machines over to the far left. And the ceiling is in pretty bad repair. There's just aisles and aisles of home goods of every variety. Here was some cute pottery pieces. The smaller pieces were not priced badly, but the teapot was the nicest, and that was a little bit pricier and more than I was interested in paying. I thought this little ring tray was cute, but I don't need more jewelry holders at this point. Lots of plates. These are pretty much discounted. 50 cents for those and $1 for the lower shelf, which is certainly not a bad price. But they're also nothing special. There's another plate my grandmother had. Yeah, nothing special here. This is an old school desk. I have one of those. Mine's really super nice. And these clothespins could be cute if they had the rounded heads, but those were pretty shot. And here we have some chairs and an old sled. Look at how big this place is. Painted bowl, a lampshade. Oh, wait, hold your horses. This is really good. It is Limoges. It matches the other pieces. It's an excellent, excellent condition. Here's another pretty one and some other white pieces and other different platters and plates and things, but my brain is going back to the Limoges. This is a pretty set right here, and some pans and cake tins and things. But I have Limoges on the brain. They had a lot of books, but I never buy books here because they use cheap stickers that actually damage the paper and the bindings. I've learned that lesson the hard way, so I didn't look too closely at the books for that reason. I really dislike it when books end up damaged because of thoughtless pricing strategies. It's a pet peeve of mine. And here's another door. I'm not sure where this goes to. This puts us back in the room with the mildewy chairs. It's just a different side of that room, so we'll head on back out of here. Now this is my favorite part of the store. We are moving towards the old elevator. It's right around this corner. And there it is. Unsafe. So we're not going to take the elevator, but we can still appreciate the elevator. And I love these twisting stairs. You can see down here there is some yucky trash. But oh my gosh, this banister is beautiful, and it is solid wood, and look at the details on it. It's got such a nice chunky look, and the railing is really smoothed down with patina, and it curves all the way up. You can see the ceiling has curves in it too. So technically we're gonna go up to the second floor, but I'm gonna show you the third floor first, because that's my favorite part of the entire store, and the main reason why I even come here is to check out that third floor. But before I do that, let's look at this elevator a little bit more closely, because it is so cool. I would love to have seen this elevator in its prime. I'm sure it was just very functional and utilitarian, but I find it so interesting. And maybe we can peek down and see what's going on below, if I can get a little opening somewhere that will allow me to do that. And This might be the spot. Don't tell the state inspector. Let's see if I can get my camera over here to peer down. Yep, they're using it for some storage. So nothing special to see, but still a really cool old elevator. And now we're gonna take these curving stairs. So this is the second set of stairs. Again, with the curving banister. Look how worn these stairs are from people using them over and over again for over 100 years. I love that. And we're about to check out my very favorite part. Let's just appreciate the curve, ignore the Starbucks, and see the elevator one more time, this time from the 3rd floor tower. It is so good. Look at these old doors. I think they're oak. They seem so heavy, and with the paneling, I bet they were really nice back in their day. You can see some brick popping out from the stucco, and here is the best part, this huge factory floor. Look at all of the light, and you can see the ceiling is exposed. Now, I can imagine that factory workers were able to work by this excellent just sunlight streaming in through these windows. I read that the windows have all been replaced, so they're not original, but they are beautiful. I'm all alone up here. It is filled with light and so much history. I find it just impossible not to imagine the lives of the workers who came here day in and day out, earning their wages, getting their job done, supporting their families, and what it must have been like for them. We'll just never really know. I wish I could spend more time up here, but I really have to go. I have a hair appointment and I'm in dire need of a coffee before that, so I'm gonna have to wrap it up, but I'll come back sometime soon. Oh, this is a cute little magazine rack. And some nice chairs in a Hitchcock style, or they could even be old Hitchcock chairs, I'm not sure. This whole space is filled with lamps, and these chairs would be a fabulous reupholstery project, really easy to do. I'm not in need of chairs right now, but they're really nice East Lake side chairs. I used to collect those. And some more Hitchcock style chairs. I'd love to go through all of these lamps, but I don't really have time for that, but I will at least show you how many there are and how big this room is. They even have some chandeliers. Nothing super special, but it's fun to look. This section is all Christmas items, all winter themed decor, and it is in this massive room, and it is filled. Most of it really is pretty garbagey, but I still love the space. And we'll head downstairs. Going down, we're going to be a little more careful than going up because it is pretty steep. And I'm just going to take in this wonderful railing and the banister with the curved details that I love so much. Bye for now. Okay, I should really get going because I'm pushing my luck with my hair appointment, but I have to show you my favorite part of the building. I love this perspective of the building. Other than the blue van, which is not so beautiful, or the look of the parking lot behind it, but I love looking at these great big windows, and we'll just go around the corner to get a better peek at them. Look at these brownstone sills and the brownstone foundation and all this gorgeous brick. And the windowsills, again, replacements, and they need some attention, but they're gorgeous. Okay, I'm in line for the drive-thru at Dunkin' Donuts. I thought that I would have the place to myself because it's kind of a weird time for Dunkin' Donuts. It's like 11:49. And fortunately, it's right next to my hairdresser's, but there are quite a few cars in front of me. I think I can still make it though. I have 11 minutes and I can't wait to get home and show you what I picked up. So I'm finally home and eager to show you what I found at Estate Treasures. So I have to say, first of all, the store, as I showed you, is very large. There are portions that are set up in a more traditional sort of retail kind of fashion. And then there's parts that are almost more like a warehouse. So the retail sections are pretty warm and comfortable. The warehouse sections are really cold. So it's a combination of kinds of things. You know, you get appliances. Their used clothes section actually really expanded. There's books, there's homeware, there's Christmas decorations, there's lamps, there's chairs, you name it, they kind of have it. And I would say the quality generally is on the pretty low side. I would say like the inventory is pretty consistent with Goodwill if you had like a really super duper organized Goodwill. And I would say their prices are inconsistent, but generally a little bit on the high side. So I did a lot of looking and a lot of thinking before I made some decisions. And so this is what I picked up. Okay, so one of the first things I saw was this little creamer. It is, you know what it is. It's Limoges. And I thought it was really sweet. It was $10, and I thought, you know, I really like a humongous deal. And for $5, for sure, yes. For $10, I didn't grab it right away. I had to think about it. So I was thinking about this guy, and then I saw the sugar bowl that went with it. And of course, obviously, also Limoges, $10. And I thought, you know, $10 for the two would be a definite yes. So again, had to think about it. Walked away, had to think. When I finally made a move was when I found this piece. This big Limoges tureen in really good shape with the top. No chips or cracks. There's no ladle, but I certainly have lots of ladles that would be just fine. And this was $4, which seemed incongruous with the other prices. But let me show you the inside. I'm sorry if you are hearing paper rattling. That's the cats playing with the packaging. Yeah, for $4, that was a definite yes. And honestly, it's funny, I would have paid $25 happily for this and probably even $35 for this. So I started to think, well, if I'm gonna pay $4 for this and then $10 for the other, this is still less than I would have paid for just the tureen. So then I started to get a little more planful about what I was picking up. And what is nice is that those are all the same pattern. So they're all the same. I actually found some saucers that went with the same set, but no teacups. So to buy the saucers without the teacups really didn't make any sense. Not that I drink tea anyway, but you know, for serving purposes, you kind of need the cup if you're gonna get the saucers. So I left the saucers behind, but I found something else. So this was a little bit random. I found 3 dessert plates, and they were, one was $5.99, one that was exactly the same was $75, and then the other one said $14 and $5.99. So I was pretty confused. Oh, I see the 75-cent one has some discoloration. Maybe that's why? Maybe that's why, I don't know. But really cute, same pattern. So I grabbed them. And then, bear with me. There were 2 dinner plates, same pattern. They were $6.99 each. And really pretty pattern. And actually, it's usually just my husband and I for dinner, so 2 dinner plates isn't the end of the world. A bit of an odd set, but definitely pretty. Let me see if I can turn the camera so you can really see. Yeah, quite a few, and a tissue. Oops, and a tissue. I forgot something was wrapped in that tissue. And my loopy case. Sorry. So that's what we have, and it's very, very pretty, and I like it a lot. So then I had to really think about the next part, which was 3 platters in this pretty rose set, and I have other pieces in this set. So is this platter very large, and this platter a little bit smaller, and then the smallest platter. And they wanted $45 for the 3. And I would have definitely paid $30, and I probably would have paid $35, but not $45. So again, I just had to think about it. So I did what I always do in a situation like this ultimately. I brought everything up to the counter and I said, listen, can we do some kind of bundle deal here? Instead of kind of haggling about, will you take 5 instead of 6, or will you take, instead of getting into that, I said, let's just bundle this price. So originally the owner wanted 100. I wanted to pay 65. He went down to 75, and I said, how about 70? And we were able to agree on 70. So success. And everything came home with me. On my way out, I saw another little piece behind the counter under glass, and it caught my attention. It was this tiny, I think it's a pill box, tiny little porcelain pill box, this pretty little romantic scene on the front. And I asked to see it, and it was, guess what? Limoges. And it was $3. Again, I would have paid more for this piece. It's so funny. I would have paid more for some. I would have paid less for others. It was so random, but he wanted $3 for this little pill box. So for $3, that was a go. So it ended up being pretty successful. And I was inspired to come up with a meal plan for tonight so I could use some of these pieces. So I decided to make homemade tomato soup, which I'll put in the soup tureen. And then I'm gonna make mozzarella and tomato paninis, which we'll put on the plate. And then I picked up a little chocolate cake thing. It's like I can't remember what it's called, but it's this little truffle thing that we will have for dessert on the little dessert plates. So we won't use the bigger trays, but we'll use all the other things, and I will feel like I had a successful day. In case you're wondering, the dinner was very good. If you'd like to stay on and hear more about the history of the old mill building where Estate Treasures is currently located, I'm going to go into that momentarily. If you're not interested in the history of the mill building, then this is probably the right time for us to part ways. Thank you so much for watching. And if you liked this video, please hit like and subscribe. And I hope to see you next time. And for those of you who are staying on, let's get into more. I'd like to start by providing you with some information about the city of Middletown, where Estate Treasures is located. Middletown was originally known as Mattabesset by the Wangunk Indian tribe. It was settled by English colonists in 1650. It's located at the Big Bend in the Connecticut River and was named Middletown because it lay halfway between Saybrook and Windsor. Its location on the Great Tidal River led to a prosperous shipping economy during the 18th and early 19th centuries. Ships sailed to port along the East Coast and in the West Indies. Crafts and trade like pewter making and shipbuilding flourished, as well as agriculture in the surrounding countryside. During the Revolutionary War, Middletown became a center of resistance to the British Crown. It was incorporated as a city in 1784, one of the first 5 in Connecticut. Middletown became increasingly manufacturing based after 1810, specializing in elastic webbing, which was used in the production of suspenders. This economic growth prompted an influx of immigrant workers looking for an employment and a better way of life. Middletown became the site of Wesleyan University in 1831. Many of its foremost citizens served in the Civil War to preserve the union of the North American states. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, immigrants continued to arrive. They gave the city the diverse and cosmopolitan quality it has today. Middletown is considered to be a mainly residential community now, but there's no doubt that it's rich in history. Middletown has a number of excellent restaurants. It's home to Kid City Museum, one of the best interactive children museums I've been to. My son used to love going there as a young child, as well as to Amato's Toy and Hobby Shop to watch the electric trains. Amato's has been in business since 1940. The building where Estate Treasures is located was built by L.D. Brown and Sons. Their silk manufactory was established in 1850 and moved its operations to Middletown in 1871. The 3-story brick factory was powered by a 50-horsepower steam engine and staffed by 150 employees in its heyday. L.D. Brown and Sons continued to expand through the late 1890s, but fell into receivership in 1903. The buildings were sold at auction and then passed through the control of several different silk manufacturers between 1904 and 1917. In 1917, the factory complex was bought by the Burns Lace Manufacturing Company and later the Russell Manufacturing Company. In 1935, the Burns Lace Manufacturing Company was replaced by the Colonial Lace Manufacturing Company and then the Wilcox Lace Corporation by 1950. By the latter year, the Russell Manufacturing Company had also been replaced by the Middlesex Bag and Paper Company. The Formatron Corporation, manufacturers of beauty and barbershop equipment, acquired the plant in 1960 and remained there into the late 20th century. The building condition ranges from good to fair to deteriorating, depending on what part of the building you're looking at. While part of the original complex has unfortunately been demolished, the existing structures are all considered to be candidates for historic designation. Currently, the building is occupied by Estate Treasures. They specialize in estate liquidation and also run the store. My assumption is that they clean out estates and then bring the contents to the store for sale. If you haven't been there, I would recommend that you check it out. As I've already mentioned, the prices are inconsistent and the quality of the merchandise is as well, but it's still worth the trip if only to check out the architecture. I especially love the tower stairs with the old elevator, the curved beadboard banister, newel post, and railing, and the fabulous open factory floor space on the upper floors. I also want to point out that the employees are very helpful and friendly, and there are some treasures to be found. I'm very happy with my Limoges porcelain. I just had to look past some of the lesser pieces to find it, and that's okay. I would love to see this business reduce or discard their lower quality inventory and keep the rest. That would free up room to rent out some space to other antiques or secondhand dealers. The rent from the dealers would help cover the operating costs of the building, which I imagine must be high. They would attract more customers and boost everyone's bottom line. There may be a whole host of barriers to that plan that I don't know about, but I'm just dreaming from my cheap seats. If you want to research the building further, I'll leave my online references in the description box so you can check it out. I hope you enjoyed this walk back into history. I know it's not for everyone, but it absolutely intrigues me. I can never learn enough, and the whole point of having a YouTube community is getting to enjoy things with like-minded friends. So if you stayed into the end, I'm glad you did. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.